Well, good morning and welcome to today's webinar on Roadway Design with Autodesk Infraworks 360 Pro. My name is Dean Peterson and I am one of the civil geospatial consultants. So what we're going to look at today is the tools that come with the ultimate version of Infraworks and Infraworks 360 Pro. If you are looking for the process to build one of these models, I've done some webcasts on those previously, and I'll show you where those webcasts are in a moment. This is just looking at the extended tools for this webcast. So most of these extended tools, or rather the complete set of extended tools, is in the 360 Pro version of Infraworks. The 360 Pro version is actually lease software, which is something that Autodesk is introducing. You can lease it for, I believe it is 1 month, 3 months, or a year. And it's not cloud software. It is a license, and the software gets installed on your machine for that period of time. What we're going to look at in terms of the tools, the first two are the road optimization and the Incisions tools, which appear in both 360 Pro and the ultimate version of Infraworks. But the second ones, or second two, the line of sight tools and the export to Civil 3D, are in only 360 Pro. We'll then look at what you can do in terms of people being able to see your model in a browser as well, if we get time at the end. So just before we move on, let's have a look at where you can see the previous webcasts that we've done. If you go to the A2K website, which is at a2k.com.au, sorry, a2ktechnologies.com.au, scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll find the webinar archive link at the bottom. When you click on that, it'll take you through to this page, and the two that are on the infrastructure modeler and the Infraworks, which are the same things, just different years, different versions from different years, is this one here, Infrastructure BIM Foundation with Infrastructure Modeler, and the Infraworks 2014 one, which is the same tool, just a different name. So let's go and have a look at the software. So let me just start up Infraworks here. So when you start it up, you get this page with any models you've made already. If you're logged into your Autodesk 360 account up here, which I am, you'll also see some online models if you posted any up there, and there's also some samples in the online models, which you can grab and download and have a play with before you start. If you're using 360 Pro, there's actually two serial numbers you need to get. One to start up Infraworks 360 Pro, as we see at the top of the page here. The second one is to give you access to the Roadway Design module. So with just one serial number, you'll get the basic tools. If you want to use the Roadway Design tools that we'll be showing you today, you need to actually get the second serial number as well. Let's start up our little model here. So I have just started up with a little surface in here, and we're going to go and sketch some bits of road and have a look at these roadway design tools. So first thing I want to do is go and have a look at putting in a little road. Now these tools use the road type of these design roads. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 design roads. You don't get these in the basic versions of Infraworks. In order to do the optimization that we're looking at, you've got to use one of these. So I'm going to put in the design road local here, and In fact, we can also, if we double click on that, we get to choose what style it's going to use. I'll use that one. So let me just sketch in approximately where this should be going. So we'll go from about here. Switch to there. You can see a black line gets drawn out, which is different from the other types of roads. To there somewhere, to about somewhere about there, I think. Down to, yep. And to push it across to there. Now you can see as I draw in these, it's putting in some default curves. If I do a right click, I can go curve options and change the radius and spiral lengths, etc. So we've got spiral, curve spiral going in there between each vertex. But instead of that, I'm going to click about there, then right click and go end draw. So this is a design road. You'll see that when I tilt the view, the grips will change. So at the moment this is the grip for moving it in plan view. So I can take one of these vertexes and drag it over here somewhere, for instance. When I rotate it and get into more of a side-on view, you'll see the grips have just changed now. So I've got a vertical IP at that point, which I can change. I can also add an additional one. So in this case, well, I might want to make the length of that vertical curve longer, and I might want to grab that grip and move the whole thing somewhere ridiculous up into the air. Okay, so that's how you manipulate those. You can also, if you want, if you go to the Optimize tab in the ribbon here, click on this button that says Profile View, and down the bottom you'll get an actual profile view, so you can actually do the same changes and manipulation in the 2D view if you want. So if I pull that down and let it go, you'll see the 3D view will update as well. We can do other things. Let's just close that for the moment. Close that. We can come across and pick on part of that. For instance there, you can right click and go add PVI, add point of vertical intersection. So I can move that across a little bit if I want to. Slide it along where we want it to be. And what I actually want to do there is get this road at the same level as that one. So I'm going to move the view onto the side a little bit, and drag that one down to about there. That's not bad. So you get a few additional tools more related to design with these vertical curves and horizontal curves than you do with the standard roads that you got previously in Infraworks, standard Infraworks if you will. Oops, let me just change that back to what I had before. Pull that up in there. Okay. So that's what we're looking at in terms of setting out one of these roads. Now what I've actually got is what we're going to do now is go and look at what we can do to optimize this. Now, as well as when it does the optimization, it's going to balance cut and fill for this road. It'll also work out some costs for you at the same time. So these construction and earthworks costs you can set beforehand if you want to. These are the defaults. So you can come in here and change any of these ones that you want to whatever figures you want, and that's going to come out in the report at the end. But for the moment, let's click on this vertical optimization button here. This is the one where you select which road you want to optimize. It's that one. There we go. Set a design speed, whatever is appropriate. Let's leave it at 50 at the moment. And it is vertical optimization that it does. So it just raises, doesn't change the horizontal alignment, just raises and lowers it to balance the cut and fills along the length of that road. let's go and actually set it this model. I've sketched in that roughly in the right place, but let's just change it to the actual road that I sent for optimization so we can compare apples with apples. So I actually got a proposal here. Proposals are just different options in the same file, or design options. We've got one manual option here. Here she goes. So, well, that's pretty close. This is the actual one that I sent away for optimization, so we'll work with this to show you what we've set. So in selecting that, you can see I've got IPs at similar places. I've got that one there and just stretched out a bit longer. We want to go and have a look at some additional settings you can set before you send it away for optimization. So we've got a button here that says Advanced Settings. And we've got things like the maximum and minimum grade we can set on the road. What's the maximum grade? 6%. I think I made it 10 when I sent it away. Tangent length, I think I made 50. And you can put a minimum grade there as well if you want to. I think I might have put 1%. You've got a slider for the PVI, or point of vertical intersection frequency, if it needs to put in some more. And you've also got the ability here to anchor a PVI. So this one here I don't really want it to change the level of, because I matched in approximately the level of that existing road and this road here, so I could put an intersection between the two. So that would be vertex, well I started at this end, so it's 1, vertex number 2. So I ticked to anchor that one as well. It's also anchored the end ones, so it comes to the ground level at the beginning and end of that road. So I've got another vertex in here, number 4 as well. So that's what we sent away. Now this does cost when you go and send one of these optimizations away. So you can click here to see how many cloud credits it's going to use. And yeah, 100 cloud credits to do one of these optimizations. So it does use quite a few cloud credits, so you probably don't want to do these things willy-nilly. Only do the ones that you definitely want to use and get for your project. Once you've done it, you hit this optimize button here and it goes away and thinks about it. I think this one took about 5 minutes or so to go away and run through that one. But let's show you what results you get back. So let me just go and find my desktop here. And in here, here's the optimization output folder. So it gives you an IMX file, which we're going to read in shortly, which overwrites that road that we've just made, which is the optimized version. But it also gives you a PDF report of it. So let's have a look at that PDF. So this is it. It gives you the profile that it's gone and put in there to optimize the cut and fill. Gives you a few station elevation figures for those PVIs, a little bit of information of what earthworks it's done, and these costs are coming from those figures that I showed you in the earthworks costs. So it's just doing a multiplication on the cut and fill figures there. It also gives you the cross sections, the various stations along the road, and a printout of the cumulative cut and fill as it goes along those sections, which is good. The batter slopes are static at the moment in terms of their slope, but that may be coming in the future that you can put your own batter slopes in. So here are your cumulative cut and cumulative fill figures, net difference, and then we've got a bit of a hauling scheme down below here for hauling forwards and back to do those volume changes to build the road. Okay. There's the ability to put some other constraints in here, I think. Yes, I think it is. It's when you actually send it away to optimization, you can put in borrow pits, if I remember correctly, and disposal sites. So let's go and bring that in. So once you've run the optimization, I'm not going to do it here, it's staring at the screen for too long. I'll just use the results that I got back previously. Once you've run it, you can then bring in that IMX file that it made. So I'm going to read in the IMX, Autodesk IMX, and navigate to my desktop in that same folder we were looking at a moment ago, and in here is our IMX file. We open that and configure it, and it will be wanting to draw our road at the, there it is there, in the same position as this road. So ideally you should delete this one out first and then bring in the other one. So let's delete that. No, actually, let's show you what happens if you don't delete it. Let's go refresh on that. Rebuilds it, and you can see it's trying to display both roads at the same time, which is not good. So we're going to delete our old one. Just hit the delete key, and it's going to disappear. So this is our optimized road. Built up here, cut in there. So it's balanced the cut and fills along the length of the road. So everything that I've shown you just there is able to be done in the ultimate version of Infraworks and also the 360 Pro version. So let's go and have a look at the other options that you get with 360 Pro version that you don't get in the ultimate version of Infraworks. So in order to do that, I'm just going to change to a different proposal here. It's the same road, I've just added some extra bits in. So let's go to the intersections proposal. Okay, I've just got a couple of extra roads. You can see that the design road we've just done, the optimized one, didn't move at all. It's exactly the same. We've just got a Revit RVT building I've brought in here, and we've also got another extra bit of road attached to it. What I'm going to do now is show you the line of sight tools that you get in 360 Pro. Again, this is the rental version of Infraworks. So where we get to those is the Analyze tab up here in Ribbon, and we've got this here, Site Distance. So select a road or intersection. I'm going to pick that road. There we go. And it says, okay, what do you want to look at? Stopping site distance or passing site distance? Well, let's look at stopping site distance first, and we'll do the forward direction, which is the direction I drew the road. So it's going to be starting from over here. And we're looking at, there's only one lane, could be left or right. No, sorry, lane 1 or lane 2. There's only one lane in this case. And go Analyze. So what it's done, if we deselect that road now, is put in these areas of blue line and yellow line and sort of grey blue line over here. Let me just move that truck out of the way. Park it in the field over here. Okay. You can analyze that again. Okay. Alright, so what it's talking about is the blue line is where the site distance is fine for stopping site distance. That's been that is preset in software. I don't think you can modify that at the moment. but you may be able to later on. And then you've got these site pins. So if we go place a site pin and click it here, that's the view looking up the road, and you can see there's a little red, or a couple of red patches of curb there, which means those are obstructing the view of that piece of road that is grey-blue in the background. So the grey-blue bit of road is the bit that's obstructed. The yellow area is the bits of this road that you cannot see that grey area from. If it's hard to tell exactly where that is, we can actually go for a drive down the road, which we'll do in a moment. Let's go and analyse a little bit more intensively for the passing site distance, and analyse that. Now we're looking at a lot more areas that are yellow, which means this part of the road ahead has been obscured. So if we actually place another one of those site pins and say, okay, let's place it here, what's the problem? The problem is, oops, sorry, shouldn't have hit enter there. The problem is the red area, which means that from where this pin is, if I place my eye level just correctly, looking ahead, that bit of cut into the ground is obscuring the opposite side of the road from this position. So that's what the red means, and you can see that the opposite side of the road is in grey over here, which means that's all like in shadow, if you like. You can't see that. And that actually progresses for a whole long way down the road. You can actually pick those pins and move them. You can see we've still got large areas of that cut being a problem. So we can also do it back in the other opposite direction, but let's just go for a drive down the road first. So let's go to the Present tab and Storyboards. And I've got the storyboard just running along a path created from a design road. As you can see here, that's how I created it. So if we actually hit the play button, it'll take us for a drive down the road, and we can pause this at any point we want. So at the moment we're fine. We can see right the way down to the corner. Here we hit a piece of that yellow, and we can see, well, if we look, we can't see nearly as far down the road. That's where the road disappears now. So those are the problem areas. Now this may be refreshing quite slowly on your screens depending on how fast the internet connection is going. So I'll just keep pausing it occasionally down here. And we can drive down the road, and you can see we really can't see very far down the road at all at this point, and that's what the yellow is indicating. You can see that these big pins and things also stay in the view when we go for our drive too, which is nice. So here's the area where all that piece of ink there is in the way. Alright, so getting rid of that storyboard for a moment. Moving our view. We can also change the direction to backward and reanalyze it, and it will run down the opposite side of the road and be looking at the travelling in the opposite direction. You may notice that the travelling in the opposite direction and travelling in the forward direction is actually set up for driving on the right hand side of the road. There isn't currently a setting that says drive on the left hand side of the road. I've talked to Autodesk about that, and they know it's a problem, and they're looking into it, and we'll hopefully be rectifying that in the not too distant future. However, you're going to be fairly close to what the actual result should be anyway, because you're driving in that direction along the road. It's just which lane you happen to be in while you're doing it, so that there's only going to be a few metres difference in terms of what it's actually reporting to you, I would think. So that's driving along the road itself. We can also look at intersections. So let's go and have a look at that. So let's escape here. So it says select a road or intersection for the site distance targeting. So let's go and have a look at, well actually before we do that, these roads are just like any other of the Infraworks roads, these design ones. I can actually click on here, put in a new one, and say, okay, I want the new one to run from there, and come out to there and go around the corner, something like that, and draw. And maybe for this one, I'll shorten her up a bit too. Do that. I might just do it with edit curve. Let's take the length of those tangents down a bit and make the curve radius a bit tighter. So you can change all those things on the fly as you want to. This hasn't quite connected into the centre line there, so I'm going to click it in. That's better. Okay, so the difference between these roads and the normal Infraworks roads is that the intersection here is a selectable object. At the moment, the curve returns have been made for a car. And again, it's using those with settings in the background, but you can override those manually. But if we select it for, we want just a standard type van type truck to be able to get around there, or we can go up to maybe an articulated truck like that. If you pick on one of these corners, click on that, and go select. There we go. She's bumped that that intersection up to cope with a truck of that sort of size. There's a bunch of other different trucks in here. Going up to a road train. This is one that goes even further. Most of the time you're probably not going to be dealing with those, but they're in there. But what you can do is, if you don't think that is correct, so let's actually place our little truck on there, a truck of a similar size, one articulated truck, bring it up to here and see roughly what it looks like. It's probably not bad. You can probably make it a bit smaller for a truck like that if you wanted to, if you're going to limit its speed a little bit. So we can actually pick our intersection, grab one of these little gizmos on a corner and say, okay, well actually I don't want a 3-arc curve there, I just want a standard curve. It just makes it bigger, so we can actually change that radius and reduce it if we want to. Gizmo. Or actually, there we go, now it's moving. Put in a figure there if I want to. Change it to something else. Let's make 25. Now probably the 3-arc curve is actually doing a better job, so let's go back to that. Well, actually it's not a 3-arc curve, it's one radius and it's got a taper leading into it and leading out, which is reducing the size of the intersection. So that's not too bad. So those are the sort of the functions on the actual intersections themselves. So you get a bit of control over that, which you never used to get previously. You can see our taper going in there before the arc. If you want to do that, and you can control each one independently. However, the other thing we have on these is, oh, by the way, with these Revit buildings, if you actually got a Revit building that you can want to import into your model, you can actually go inside them and look out of the windows if you position it carefully. Let's rotate. Go down one level. Where's the big window gone? I think I've gone through it. Big window, must be in the 4 below. There we go, that's what I was looking for. And look out of the windows of your buildings and things as well, which is pretty cool. So hours of fun to be had with that. But what I wanted that there for is to have a look at this intersection. So let's actually move that building a little bit. So that's what it's going to be. We can do those site analysis tools again on the intersection. So if I actually pick the intersection and have the site distance tools up here, you can say whether it's a no control intersection or if it's stop control or give way control. Let's say it's no control on the intersection, and we go analyze. Here it takes a look at the intersection and says, okay, well, this area in blue, approaching from, it's got the name, this one's Road 1, the side one's Road 2. If you hover over that, it says the site's clear from crossing Road 1 from Road 2, so that's all good. This one here in yellow, there's a problem. It says the site is obstructed, and you can see the side of the building is highlighted in red. That's what the issue is. So if I pick that and move it back out the way, you can see it's dynamic, so I can move a building in and out of it. Pop it there. I can pick that intersection again and reanalyze it. And there's still something it doesn't like. What would that be? Oh, it could be this. Oh no, it shouldn't be that. What does it say? Right side obstruction crossing Road 1 from Road 2. So maybe it's the angles of the actual road itself. No, that looks alright. Something there it thinks is obstructed. That's okay with the stop control. So go back to no control. Must be the rise of the hill, I think. Although it looks alright from here. You need to have a bit of a look at that, I think. See what's actually being obstructed. You can put your eye down at the level of the site plane. Looks okay to me. You also want to untick this one here that says road decorations, because otherwise these little bollards, you can see they've got red tips on them. They're actually going to be getting in the way. I wonder if it's this truck. Let's move that out the way. Let's move this a little further. Okay, reanalyze it. Yeah, maybe it's where that intersection is. Could be the intersection's too close. We're actually going right into the intersection here. That might be realising there's not enough distance in there to be in a straight piece of road rather than an intersection. So, interesting tools. Not something you've had in 2D software before, because obviously it's running this 3D analysis that it's doing, because you've got a 3D model completely built and ready to go, which is why you can do things like moving the building into a, etc. Dynamically and see that happen. Alright, what we might do is have a look at the other function in here, which is the other function that's particular to the 360 Pro version, which is View Civil 3D Drawings. This takes your, let's close this up, and close that up. If we pick that option there, it says select a model road. So we don't have a road selector, so I'm going to pick that one. This is the one I want to export to Civil 3D. It's going to go from the start to the end, 750 meters. It's going to make some sheets. So I've navigated to my ANZ plane production sheets. and choosing A1 sheets at 1 to 500, I think, should be about right. We want to make plan and profile sheets, which would be nice. And then we get an option of put all the layouts in one new drawing, or all the layouts in the model in one drawing, or put one or as many layouts in any number of new drawings that you want, similar to what Civil 3D does. Let's go all layouts in one new drawing, and go next. And then it says select surface. So if in the background we've got a offset off the base road, so I've told it to go 40 metres on either side of that base road to select the surface that's going to export, just to see what that looks like. Let's go and click on that button to digitize on screen. It puts this big blue wall around the piece of surface that's going to export out to Civil 3D. So that should be alright by me, so I'll just hit escape there. So, just a minute. Okay. And put that back to 40. Then we go next, and then we've got some options for what we can do when it gets to Civil 3D. Drawing name, that's the metric template it's going to use when it makes a drawing. Coordinate system, Bay of Plenty 2000 will do, and it's going to make a sheet set too. So this again took about 5 minutes to generate, so I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to show you the one that's already done. So I hit the generate button and off it goes. If we switch to Civil 3D, I'll show you the output, what we got out of it. So let's go and open it. Sheet set road drawing. This is what we got. So we can see it's taken the alignment that came from Infraworks, which is the red line there, with the curves and tangents and spirals in between. So that's all exported. It's made some sheets and brought through that 80 metres wide piece of surface. On the sheets that it's made, have a look at sheet 1. It's given us the plan and profile, but the profile is not quite, well, it needs a style change really to make it work. So let's go do that. So back to here, if we go and actually pick this, go and have a look in the profile view properties. Actually, what do we want to do here? We might change the style, I think. So the profiles are there. No. All we need to do is, it hasn't got the elevation quite right. It's actually done a user-specified height, which would be better off to actually use automatic. So we go automatic, go OK. And you can see it gets our profiles right when we do that. So again, go into the profile view properties, put that on automatic, and same with the last little one that's generated. Put that on automatic. Probably need to change the height of those, but let's have a look at the sheets. Yeah, so they're still a little bit too big for the sheet, so I'm going to make that viewport active. Let's just do it straight through the viewport. We go into the style that's using, profile view style. I'm just going to change it to 1 times vertical exaggeration. I think it's probably picked up 5. Yeah, the default of 5 has been picked up, so let's just go 1. And that should fix them all up. Okay, so we've got our plan, we've got our profile, and they may just need a tiny nudge to make them fit perfectly, because obviously they're a different length than what's curved on the plan. And look it again, and same with sheet 2 and sheet 3. Sheet 3 is just a little bit that's left on the end. You could go into Civil 3D and or use the Civil 3D tools to play around with that a little bit and make it a bit bigger, or the other one smaller. Of course. So, not a bad little function. in order to basically use Infraworks to sketch out a rough design and quickly get out some quick drawings with, say a 30% design scenario done, and you can just submit those as your 30% of the project done there for approval. So I guess that's where they're going at the moment, is to get those first increments of the design proposal stage being able to be done in Infraworks. The last thing I wanted to show you guys is the browser viewer. So let's just switch to Google here. Or to, this is Google Chrome. What you can do back in Infraworks is go to the Present tab and make one of these things called a scenario. You hit the plus and it adds the model as it is, as a scenario, and then you can use the button up here, this one here, to publish that scenario. Click on there and hover over that. Publish the selected scenario to Autodesk Infraworks 360, so it's going to publish it up to your 360 account. What happens when you do that? It sends you an email with a link, and if you open that link in something like Chrome, they recommend Chrome, and it does work a bit faster than Internet Explorer I've seen. This is an example model using the same services we've just been working on. Now, it doesn't have the same lighting effects as what you get in actual Infraworks itself, and you can't move things around, but it gives the general public or anybody else who want to submit this model to the ability to move around inside that model dynamically and have a bit of a look at what things are going to look like on sight lines, etc. For running within a browser, it's actually really, really fast and really smooth. It's probably not coming across terribly smooth on the webcast that I'm doing at the moment with you guys. But let's, if you want to see this a bit better, you can download this webcast later on. I'll be putting it on that same place on the A2K Technologies website. Or what I will do just right at the moment is I will copy and paste this link into the chat bar here and send it to everybody. So you should be able to copy and paste that now from the chat panel in the GoToMeeting panels. Find that link, you can copy and paste that out, and you'll be able to have a look at this exact model because I've made this a public one. So go and have a little play and have a bit of a look around, see how it works, see how it moves. You'll find the mouse buttons are a little different from the way AutoCAD uses mouse buttons. It's a bit more like 3ds Max runs its mouse, but it doesn't take too long to get used to it, or to at least get proficient, perhaps, not necessarily used to it. So that's actually a really nice little tool to have, and this is not just in 360 Pro, it's in the other versions of Infraworks as well, to be able to do this. An easy way to publish 3D models to people who don't have the software on their machines. Alright, so that takes us to the end of the webcast for today. Hopefully that gives you some information and a bit of a look-see at what 360 Pro Infraworks does. Just before we leave you, there are CSAT surveys that Autodesk are sending around to people at the moment, just to see what your experience is with your reseller. Just note that, as it says here, only scores of 9 or 10 are indicated positive experience. Anything else is 7 or 8 are neutral, and anything else is deemed as being a negative experience. So if you bear that in mind when you answer the little questionnaire. Only 9s and 10s are deemed as positive. Strange sort of system, but there we go. So thank you for tuning in today, and as I say, we'll have been recording this webcast, and we'll put this up on the ATK Technologies site for you to download. Have a good day.